Hi, my name is Jeannie, and today I'll be discussing a very serious topic, and it is the Buddhist concept or the Nichiren Buddhist concept of life and death. What does life and what does death mean for Nichiren Buddhists? So I'll be reading off from my phone some quotes that I prepared, and also sharing what our concept of life and death is. And this topic is very timely because unfortunately, right now we are in a global pandemic, and part of the reason as well that I'm sharing this teaching, hopefully to help people that are suffering and are afraid and are anxious and are looking for answers. So that's why I'm uploading a video almost every week now, just to share what I know and to give hope to people and to share what wisdom I have in my 13 years of practicing Nichiren Buddhism. So right now it's a really scary time, and I understand it, that people are really scared. So I'm sharing this piece of wisdom. So in Nichiren Buddhism, we consider life as wakefulness and death as like going to sleep, because we believe in the eternity of life. It doesn't mean that we will come back in our form right now. This is like not this physical body. It will deteriorate. What I mean is that life is eternal. We will be, and I think science has verified that energy can neither be created nor destroyed. So we just get maybe the word for it is recycled or repurposed or whatever you like to call it. But yeah, we will just cycle through another form somehow. And so in Nichiren Buddhism, and I'll be quoting from Ikeda, one of the teachers that we have in Nichiren Buddhism. It says, cycles of life and death can be likened to the alternating periods of sleep and wakefulness. Just as sleep prepares us for the next day or for the next day's activity, death can be seen as a state in which we rest and replenish ourselves for new life. In this light, death should be acknowledged along with life as a blessing to be appreciated. So life and death is unfortunately a part of our existence, and it's inevitable. We will have to eventually pass away and die. And I actually read a Buddhist parable, and this is coming from the old Sakyamuni Buddha, the original or historical Buddha, and who was a prince or royalty or someone of great he was a great ranking person. He lived somewhere in India and or Nepal, so that area over there. So he actually was very famous in his region as a very wise man. So this woman, she loses her only son, and someone told her to approach Sakyamuni Buddha and ask if he can bring her son back to life. So when she confronted, or when she approached him, she actually asked, like, what can I do to bring my son back to life? What can you do, to bring him back to life? I heard you have, you're a very wise man and you solve problems. And Sakyamuni Buddha replied to her and asked and told her, okay, if you find, I'm going to ask you to go to each household and ask them if they have not had any deaths in the family or in their household. And if no one has died in that household, collect mustard seed. And if you come back with at least one mustard seed, meaning, I will bring your son back to life. So meaning that she was tasked to look for a household in her village that has never been touched or affected by death. So what she did, so the whole day she knocked on people's doors, and she asked her neighbors and asked them, like, have you had any deaths in the family? And if not, can you give me like I'll collect one mustard seed from this household and stuff. So what happened was, at the end of the day, she was not able to collect a single mustard seed. So she went back to Sakyamuni with an awareness that not a single person or a single household in her neighborhood has not been touched by death. At least someone in someone's family had died and had moved on to, to a higher plane of existence or another existence or whatever you like to call it. But yeah, that not a single person has not been touched or affected by death in the family. So with that knowledge, this woman became aware that really death is not preventable. It is preventable, but it's inevitable. Eventually we will pass away and no one escapes death. And Sakyamuni Buddha also had talked about the four sufferings, which is birth, sickness, aging, and death. So we all go through these four phases. So we go through birth, we go through aging, we go through sickness, and eventually we will all die. But according to Nichiren Buddhism, and I'm going to quote Ikeda, an awareness and understanding of death raises our state of life. When we are cognizant of the reality and inevitability of death, we begin to seek the eternal and become determined to make the most valuable use of each moment of life. So, the experience of losing a loved one impels us toward a deeper understanding of life. Everyone fears and is saddened by death. That is natural, but by struggling to overcome the pain and sadness that accompanies death, we become sharply aware of the dignity and preciousness of life and develop the compassion to share the sufferings of others as our own. So I'd like to share like a personal story. So around 5 years ago, my mom passed away really quickly. When I left home, I moved abroad, like I'm in the US now, and my family is back in the Philippines. So when I left the Philippines, my mom was really healthy. And I didn't expect her to get sick and to die at all, not anytime soon. But what happened was that she just developed like an illness and a sickness, and it just took her out really quickly. And unfortunately, I did not have an opportunity to see her before she died. I was gonna fly back. I was flying back on the day that she passed away, and in a way, I sort of appreciate that, because in my memory, she will be alive. Like in my memory, she's alive, and it's just it's somehow I have a good memory of her. But at the same time, it's also a bit like it was really like there was a disconnect as well from the last time that I saw her. She was alive, and when I saw her, her dead body, that was really, really, really painful. And the only reason why I was able to overcome that pain and that suffering associated with someone dying or someone that I really loved, the only way was because I chanted Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. And I really did, actually. I chanted a lot of Nam Myoho Renge Kyos just to overcome that pain and that sorrow. Because although as a Buddhist I understood the concept of life and death, but I'm also human, and I really did love my mom as well. And the thing is, when I left the Philippines, I really had said what I needed to say, and I felt at peace as well, because there was really, our relationship wasn't really strained or anything. We were doing okay, and we would chat at times, and so I really have no regrets And I know she's in a better place right now, but this is just illustrating that everybody, each family goes through a death of a loved one. And I've had a lot of family members die already. I had a cousin that died in his 30s, and I think my own grandfather, my original grandfather, he died in his 40s. And another step granddad that died recently, and it's just a lot of deaths, and family and friends as well. And according to a family member back home, we also have people we know, our family knows someone, or at least 2 people that have died of the virus, and it's really, really sad. But that is life. It's really a mystery. Life is really a mystery. That's why we have to appreciate whatever time that we have right now. And that's why I chant Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, because there are no guarantees in life, whether you have a long life, a short life. What's really important is that you're happy at this moment, and then you are not, what you call that, affected, and you are not defeated by fear and the fear of the unknown, and then you continue to live your life with as most value as you can give it, And I'm gonna read another quote which I have prepared and which I really love. It is the reason why I continue to chant, because chanting just allows me to live my life to the fullest and to transform any suffering, literally any suffering, into joy and enlightenment and just awareness and more happiness and gratitude. And it's a hard process for sure, because I really am consistent with my practice. I chant every single day, and I try to read and study every single day, and that somehow roots me, helps me be strong in uncertain times. So I'm going to share a quote which was actually from the founder of Nichiren Buddhism, and it's a priest in the 13th century, and his name was Nichiren. So that's where we got our form of Buddhism from, Nichiren Buddhism. So he wrote, "If you wish to free yourself from the sufferings of birth and death you have endured since time without beginning, and to attain without fail unsurpassed enlightenment in this lifetime, you must perceive the mystic truth that is originally inherent in all living beings. This truth is Myoho Renge Kyo. Chanting Nam Myoho Renge Kyo will therefore enable you to grasp the mystic truth innate in all life." So I chant Nam Myoho Renge Kyo because it helps me connect to life force. I can't explain it. You're connected to the universe, you're in the flow, and you're connected to your higher self, and you see things with a higher perspective instead of like seeing it through the lens of ego. It doesn't mean I don't get angry. I still get angry. I still fear. I have fears. It's just that I'm not as affected by it compared to when I don't chant. If I don't chant, actually, I'm like very fearful, very anxious, and I feel I don't have the courage to confront daily life. I don't know if you're familiar with the concept. I'm using pop culture analogy right now of Scooby-Doo. So I turn into Scooby-Doo and Shaggy-Doo when I don't chant. But when I chant, I turn into, no, not Scrappy-Doo. Scrappy-Doo is the smaller, like braver doggy. So I turn into Scooby-Doo, and I'm very fearful, and I turn into Shaggy if I don't chant. I'm really like a scaredy dog, if you can call it that way. But when I chant, I turn into Scrappy-Doo, who's like a short little fella, short little doggy who can confront monsters and like bad guys that are bigger than him. So yeah, that is how, just using popular culture analogy. And I'm sorry, I don't have another way to describe it. I'm just braver when I chant, and I'm really more scared too if I don't chant. So I really need it. And to people that are watching this video, that's why I'm making this video, because I want to educate people that there is such a teaching that teaches that, hey, you can confront the unknown and still be on top of it, you know. And this teaching, chanting Nam Myoho Renge Kyo for whatever, how many minutes you want to chant it, it really depends on you. It will give you courage, unlimited wisdom. It's just, I wouldn't be chanting for 13 years if it has no effect on my life. Literally, I would rather just sleep all day or something. But the fact that I wake up very early in the morning to chant means that I see benefits from this practice. And yes, we are in the unknown right now. It is a very scary place. But when you chant Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, you have the unlimited power, the unlimited wisdom to just confront any obstacle, anything. Life, it's an obstacle in itself. The challenges of life, you will have the power and the capacity and the ability to confront life head on. So I will send a link. I will put a link on the description, and hopefully to send you to more resources if this video resonates with you. And I hope it has helped you. And we are all in this together somehow, because we are living in this age of like, it's a really scary time to be alive. But because I chant Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, I have the courage and the wisdom. And I turn into Scrappy Doo. Okay. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.